Hello, I like writing. It's pretty fun. I have written a two-sentence horror thing a while ago, and I'll just read it to you. It's not very scary. I think that's the main problem with it, but it's not that bad. Across barren cities, windswept valleys, and lands which were once called home, there is but one man, and he walks alone. But despite his atrocities, his mission is left undone. But there still is someone. So you could think about that again a bit and kind of start to understand what that's talking about. And I think that's a big part of two sentence anything. It has to have depth, and for it to have depth, there has to be like a double sided thing, right? So you have to at the end be like, oh, that's what it was talking about. And at the beginning maybe have an idea, but not like fully anything. And at the end for two sentences horror, you need it to be scary, the end realization. So I'm on Reddit right now. Yeah, you heard of that thing? Well, I've gone here and I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be interesting. There's a lot of jokes and they're not that funny. So I'm gonna have to try to find some ones that are good, but this is gonna be hard, okay? It's gonna be hard to find ones that are actually good and aren't just memes they're bad. Okay, there's a lot of bad ones, but here's one that's pretty good. As punishment for coming home late, she dumped an entire jug of water onto me, and I thought, why does this water smell so bad? Then I heard the match. It's fairly good actually. It could be better than mine. It might fit the idea of something that's actually scary more. So I think that's a prime example of one that fits this. It's what someone said. Well, you'll never be home alone again. And yeah, r/slash technically the truth. Okay, this one's funny. It's not scary at all, but it's funny. Safe dosage is one red pill every 5 hours and two green pills every 8 hours. Side effects may include memory loss and color blindness. I mean, that's funny. That's not scary. I think there should be a different subreddit for stuff that's just funny. I've washed my hands 5,001 times. I still can't get the blood off my palms. That's pretty good. I have to admit, that one's pretty good. Someone said, I don't get it. And someone replied to that, I think he washed his hands so many times, he washed away his skin, and thus there's nothing to stop the blood. But I don't know if I'm right or not. When they explained that any dead animal I touched would be returned to life, but wouldn't be healed, I laughed and said that sounded more like a blessing than a curse. Then I put on my leather jacket and felt something warm and wet oozing down my back. I mean, that's pretty good too. That would mean you'd have to be careful in restaurants. Food is alive. This did make me go ew at first, so that was fun. Yeah, there are a lot of pretty bad ones. Like, example, one that's just kind of bad. I mean, no shame. I mean, it's not horrible, but when I finally saw the city lights appear in the distance, I thought I wouldn't freeze to death. When I realized those were eyes, I knew I wasn't going to die of cold. I mean, it's fine, but it's not fantastic. Another example of a bad one. The scientists were successful in transferring 1,000 human consciousnesses into storage and then transferring them back into human bodies. Neither the government or scientists reveal anything about consciousness editing feature in the storage. I mean, kind of bad grammar there, but that's not very good, right? It's not like it doesn't go with the idea of this subreddit, I don't think. It's very hot on the trail, and I'm lost. I need to conserve water. I feel faint, and I may pass out soon, but I have a few liters of water for when I wake up. It also doesn't go with the thing very much, but it works, kind of. This could be its own kind of subreddit. Whatever. Grammar, you really try to cram that in there. I'm lost, I need to conserve water. There's not even a transition. It's very hot on the trail, and I'm lost, I need to conserve water. That I need to conserve water is like that you can't even put a semicolon in between that. That doesn't even work with that. That's a totally different thought. It's not. It should be 3 sentences. Liars, fraud. I'll find you. Honey, you're so smart. Your skull's too small for your brain, she said, after the doctors said the swelling was untreatable. It's bad. I think they know it's bad, though. I need to actually find some good ones here. I think this one's an honorable mention one. It is pretty scary, but it's not. I think this one is an honorable mention one. is scary, but it's not. I think the whole premise of it isn't fantastic, but this is the best as it could be. I should really stop explaining the thing before I say it. I should say I explain it like I give my thoughts on it afterwards. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Red Barb, come on, be better. Be better. As our doctor started the ultrasound, we stressed we wanted the baby's gender to be a surprise. She smiled weakly and asked her assistant to call the oncologist. An oncologist is a doctor who treats cancer and provides medical care for a person diagnosed with cancer. Um, so there's an explanation here. I mean, it would make more sense if this was like called the surgeon, because like maybe something happened to the baby. You know what I mean? You know. But this is what the explanation here is. It's a molar pregnancy, apparently. Basically, it's a tumor, all the symptoms of pregnancy, and a positive test. By Squid Bear says this, apparently knowledgeable in this field. I have not studied in this field at all. This is a new idea to me, this whole concept is. But I think after you've... Maybe it depends on the type of cancer, but after a tumor gets big enough that you're, like, doing an ultrasound, it might be, like, fairly big and deadly. Like, I think you could be dead by then. I don't know when they do the ultrasounds, but whatever. Whatever. My children screamed in horror as I threw one of their dolls out of the window. I turned around to tell them to shut up, but I froze when I saw the other dolls frantically running towards the door. It's okay. Lamau, sorry, this is funny. Says, loves horror. If someone starts cussing on the phone, I immediately hang up on them. In just 3 short years, I'll be a retired 911 dispatcher. That's funny. That's funny, okay? It's not scary, though. None of these are scary. It's funny, though. I went outside at midnight to see that the moon was full. Still no change for 43 days straight. This is one that it really tries to be ominous, and I gotta say, it's not that ominous. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. No. Okay, I'm gonna search up the most popular ones. So if you are an actual Redditor, then you might recognize some of these. So I'll do top this month. Ooh, interesting one. This is top of the month. I think it's scary for not the... God, I'm doing it again. I'm explaining it before I show you what I'm... As a single father, I was relieved when I received the call that my daughter had survived the plane crash, and I rushed to the hospital, guys, hospital to see her. But when she said, Dada, and ran to me, I saw that she was horribly disfigured. So I shook my head, pushed her away, and told the officer that it wasn't her. That's scary. It's not really scary for the person, like, who would, like, the person that this is in reference about, kind of. But it's definitely, it's scary. As like a societal kind of way that people would do this. This is the absolute worst one that I've ever read. Be right back. I think I'm gonna have a little cry. And the writer, I think that's the writer. Yeah. Me too. That's why I had to write it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I hate this. Yeah. It is it is very much messed up, actually. It's more messed up than it is scary. So, yeah. So this is the next one. I chuckled as I read the Reddit QOTD. I don't know what that means. If you were to die based on your username, how would you go out? My laughter subsided as a familiar throbbing pain behind my head quickly returned. And it is by someone named Parasites Behind My Eyes. It's not scary. It's supposed to be funny, I think. It's whatever. I'm gonna skip some of these, really. These aren't actually that good. Like this one. I chuckled. Wait, same one. My newlywed wife playfully smeared icing across my cheek. So in return, I had smashed her face into the rest of our cake. When she went limp, I pulled her towards my chest, only to see a skewer through her eye. Yeah, that's not that scary. It's not, it's horrifying, but it's not creepy. So I don't know. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. This one's really good. This one's peak. This is really good. Okay, this is probably my favorite one so far. Tears streamed down my face as I stared at the stamped 95 on my paper. As my family looked on sadly, I shuffled into the sub 100 line, knowing what was next for me. That does require a bit of thinking, and I think that is like that's the point. That's the goal. That it makes you think, and it's thought provoking, and you slowly get to see it like oh, I get it now. Yeah, it's that's really good. It's okay, I'll be standing right behind you, Chief. Thanks, dude. Always good to have a buddy when marching towards doom. Apparently, it's based on Twilight Zone Examination Day, based on a story by Harry Slezar. We can actually read on this a bit. Dickie Jordan is an intelligent and curious youth. He and his family live in a dystopian future. On Dickie's 12th birthday, he is required by law to undergo an intelligence examination. Dickie's birthday wishes to do well on his exam. His parents appear stressed and avoid his questions. When the time comes, his father brings him to a government testing facility where he's given a serum to ensure he tells the truth and is given a series of intelligence assessment questions. After the test is complete, Dickie's parents are contacted by the government and told that Dickie's intelligence exceeded the legal limit, so he was executed. The parents burst into tears as the government examiners asked them how they would like to handle their son's remains, whether his body should be interred? Interred by the government, or if they would prefer a private burial. I don't know what that word is. But this is, kind of takes that, this short story, Two Simpsons story thing, it takes that and flips it on its head, so it's lesson, which kind of makes more sense. But there is I know I'm rambling, but there's this book out there that's kind of about how people with like are good at things, like good at dancing. This guy that was good at dancing cannot do that. So, or who's beautiful. So, there's the main character who lives in this dystopian world where that's the case, and they have a mask on him and have chains around his legs so he can't dance, and you can't see his masculine beauty. And that definitely reminds me of that. So, inter is...
Inter.
Oh, it is inter. So inter is to place a corpse in a grave or tomb, typically with funeral rites. Fun. The more you know. This one raises a good point. How often does this test happen? Because the bar is going to keep raising if you separate out 50% of the population every time. It's also going to filter literally half of all the test takers. That's a good point. Oh. Whoa, I like this one too. I told my therapist I watched a girl drown when I was 15. I could have saved her, but I was too scared. I know, she said, as she got up to lock the door. That was my daughter. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna do top of this year. There are two here that are... One of them is very much about suicidal stuff, and another is... Ooh, I don't want to read that one here. Okay, if you look at top... If you go to Reddit, go here, look at the top of this year, you'll see them. They're interesting. A lot of these actually are... Now that I'm looking at them, these ones top of the year require a lot of thought, and you can't just read through them. This one's pretty good. I like this one. This is more... I keep on doing this. I'm explaining it before I... An hour into our cave exploration. Exploration? An hour into her cave exploration, Sarah's flashlight broke, and she was forced to blindly follow the faint breeze coming from the cave's entrance. Remembering the Zippo in her pocket, she flicked it on, revealing the lanky, eyeless man who had been blowing on her face, leading her deeper underground. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Turn back, I begged my friend as he drove, sirens wailing in the background. He seemed desperate not to, at first, but after I got one of his earplugs out, he agreed that their voices were too beautiful to ignore. At first you think it's like, oh, ambulance sirens or police sirens. No, it's sirens. It's pretty good. Okay, this one, I have to... I know I said I shouldn't, like, speak about it at the beginning, but this is, like, really deep stuff, and maybe I shouldn't have it here, but it's... In my PTSD warning is what I have to say. So, the Fitness Grand Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that gets progressively more difficult as it continues. The test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. That is, without doubt, the most scary one I've read here. That's insane. I think that is a fantastic one to leave off this video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.